I'm Paddy O Gorman, and you're listening to Paddy's podcast. For this podcast, I've spent some days standing, along with my little dog, at the steps outside the Criminal Courts of Justice in Dublin, and I've been speaking there to people who are up before the courts. People on their way in, and if they haven't been sent to prison, people on their way out.
I get on grand now. These charges that I'm up on is, I'm an alcoholic and I'm off the drink is for when I was on drugs and drink. I'm off to drugs 2.5 years and I'm off to drink 16 months next week. So I was ready to put in the back to get a letter on my doctor to see how much I'm doing well. Right. So I'm doing great and my life is better, so I'm not taking drugs. I work and I get paid my money in the bank now instead of spending on drugs and drinking. But I'm on a methadone clinic even though I'm off drugs because when I came off the drugs I kept drinking, but I was on methadone, so I stayed on the methadone, so I'm going to try and come off the methadone, but I'm grand.
And so did you tell all that to the judge just now?
I told her, do you know all that this is going on years, all these charges, right. And the judge knows they're all for drunken disorderly and for robbing, drink and for stealing, but the solicitor said she did all this because she had to, because she was sick and she had a habit. So I'm getting a letter after the doctor to say that I'm doing well now, so I don't have to do all that. I haven't been guarded attention, so it should be going well for me, please God.
Do you know, as I talk to you now, I'm talking to somebody like, you know, a nice manner and so on. It's hard to imagine you going into a shop and robbing and stuff, you know.
No, but when you have an addiction, you don't care. Like, no, really, you can't get drink till 12:30 on a Sunday. I'd go into Aldi and I'd open the bottle of vodka at 9 o'clock and walk around drinking it, and I wouldn't give a fuck. I'm sorry for the language.
That's okay.
But I wouldn't care now, I wouldn't care, I'd walk in, I'd rub perfume to sell them, everything,
And did they notice you drinking there?
Sometimes I'd get arrested and get charged, and that's how I've charged, and sometimes I wouldn't.
And charges go back a couple of years?
They're going back years, so I'm going to get loads of letters for the next time to say I'm doing well and get them out through.
Just one last thing, did you ever end up in prison over?
I was in prison a few times, but when I come on, we met down and all, I want to do a drug and alcohol counter. I think I'd be brilliant.
I'd say you would.
Yeah,
Look, really nice talking to you, okay?
Yeah, what's your name, man?
Paddy O Gorman.
Thank you, Paddy O Gorman. Thanks, God bless.
Cheers, bye-bye. Outside the court, on the steps and under the benches, you will often see illegal drug use going on. I've seen syringes in the bushes there. A court employee comes out on a regular basis with a handheld litter-picking device and a steel box for dropping dangerous sharp objects into. And people often smoke cannabis there. These men told me what they were smoking.
Weed one. Cannabis plant.
I don't smoke. And do you think it should be legal, the weed?
Yeah.
Then you can get into a lot of trouble for smoking the weed.
The guards could nick you on that and say it was €50 worth, where it's not even 50 cent worth.
And may I know, man, is it the weed that has you in court, up in court here today, or no, something else? Yeah. Okay.
I got a strikeout today. Yeah.
How come?
The lack of evidence they had, you know.
Right outside the court here, and I could smell the cannabis. Are you worried that they'd come out and arrest me?
No, you won't be worried about that, mate. You know what I mean? I don't feel a criminal, I don't like. You suffer with PTSD, it helps me, it does. I have 2 back injuries. You know what I mean? And me, they should decriminalise it.
Like there's more medical problems off alcohol than there is off actual cannabis itself.
Nobody ever died from hash or anything. They died off from weed. They died from fucking alcohol and other things.
And then they ask you, were you up this morning? Or
I was on the drink all night and I only had an hour sleep on the bus and that was it.
And did you have far to come this morning?
From Cavan, and then when I came from Cavan I stopped off at that pub around there and got a pint before going into the court now.
Are you going back in? What are you up for?
Drunk disorderly, threatened abuse behaviour.
That is it, burger.
Usually they throw loads of things at you.
And what's going to happen?
Tell you when I come out.
All right, okay. Right. Thank you very much. Cheers, bye-bye. Bye-bye. These 2 men were about to go into court.
I'm up on a phone that I was going to sell into a shop, and the police said it was stolen property, and there was no stolen property at all.
And what's going to happen to you?
I'm pleading not guilty, sir.
Go not guilty, yeah. You know what I mean, Paddy, yeah. You know what I mean?
It's not your first time here, is it?
No, I've over 100 convictions, Paddy, you know what I mean? No.
So what do you
do?
do?
A bit of shoplifting and this and that, you know, man.
I'm in prison then?
I've done over 20 years, Paddy, yeah. Oh, man. Over 20, you know, man.
Do you think it's wrong to be stealing from the shops?
Me? Well, it's the German shops, they're not Irish, oh, man.
I know you're pleading not guilty, but I know what are you accused of stealing here?
I've a load of meat.
These 2 women were outside the court having a cigarette, waiting for the case that one of them was facing to be called.
I'm at the being in court since I was 18. I got done with manslaughter, and then I got out when I was 26, and then I got done for a trespassing charge. I have a 4.5 year suspended sentence, but I'm just up today visiting me mate. Thank God I haven't been in trouble now in a few years.
So you're here for a friend this morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here to support a friend.
It's me. I'm actually the friend that she's here to back up.
And what do you think's going to happen to you, please?
I don't know, sorry. This is my first time ever in court.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
I've never been arrested before this or anything, so I don't know. That's why I brought her along.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I'm not from Dublin.
I gather that,
So
yeah.
it's a big country accent.
I know.
So I'm a bag of nerves.
What, sorry?
I'm a bag of nerves.
If you've no previous,
That's what I said to her. She'll just get a slap on the wrists.
Yeah.
Whereas I had to get a sentence because it was manslaughter.
Right.
So they had to give me a sentence. But because I stayed out of trouble for a good while, they were chasing me for 4 years on a charge that happened 4 years ago. And I was put on remand there. I'm only out 4 months. I was put on remand there for 7 months, and the judge gave me a 4.5 year suspended sentence.
Right.
Because she knew I hadn't been in trouble. I have me kids back.
Right, so the first time was manslaughter, but what was the suspended sentence for them?
3 street robberies.
Right. And was that like handbags, is it, or?
No, do you know what? I didn't even need money. It was just on a mad one night.
You were not thinking properly.
Yeah, I was homeless and I was on drugs and I was just all over the place. Like I felt like I had nobody. Do you know what I mean? So.
And how is your health now? Are you staying away from drugs or?
Yeah, I'm grand.
You said manslaughter. That's a rather shocking crime, isn't it?
No, it wasn't really, because my ma was in doing life. So manslaughter was a step down from a life sentence. So I was happy more so than sad.
And your mum was she's doing life now?
No, she's out now 4 years.
Right, but was it for the same
No,
killing?
my ma was in for murdering my father.
Oh, I see. Right.
But when we went to prison, we became best friends. She still is my best friend.
Your mum and yourself?
Yeah, because I'm an only child. Fly down to the shop.
Okay, all right. Look, I hope it works out for you. I'll be here later anyway if you want to talk to me. Yeah. Cheers. It wasn't long before those two women came back out of the court building again. They were pleased with the outcome of the case. I'd brought them good luck, they shouted at me as they headed off. Regarding the previous cases that one of them had been involved in, she had indeed been in prison along with her mother at the same time for separate killings. The daughter did 4.5 years for manslaughter. That killing was in 2010. The other case was in 2000 when that woman's father was killed by her mother. She was convicted of murder. She is out now. You meet a lot of homeless people facing charges at the court, such as this man.
Drunk and disorderly again. I lost my charges because I was sleeping on the road and all my charges got dumped and destroyed, so I didn't even realize I had a court. But my solicitor is a legend. I will not say his name.
Okay. And you're hoping, what you hope he'll manage for you then this morning?
Hopefully he's gonna sort me out. Tell me what I'm due, I'll pay it.
And will you be able to pay a fine, or?
Not really. I'm homeless, so I can't afford my house.
So look, I'd guess from what I've seen, you'll end up with community service sooner or later. Would that be okay, do you think?
No, I actually sit on the street and draw names for money, and that's how I make.
How is your health now, sir? How are you?
I feel healthy even though I'm drinking too much.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm not drinking too much, then I don't feel healthy.
Okay.
I don't know if you can put it in an alcoholic perspective, but
all right.
that's the truth about me.
Right. Do you think you drink too much?
Oh, well, last 15 years I'm trying to get off. Last 25 years I'm on it. So, I don't know.
You have a mixed accent, East European, I think, but
Croatian.
Croatian, okay, but there's a slight American sound to your voice as well. That's
because we learn English on the telly.
All right.
Same as German.
When is your case being called?
I'm already late.
Well, don't let me hold you up.
No, you're not. I don't care.
All right. And
I shouldn't be here anyway.
Yeah, what do you think is going to happen to you this morning then?
I'm gonna get another fine. I don't know how I'm gonna pay it, but yeah, that's it.
If you don't pay it, then sooner or later you'll be arrested.
Obviously.
Where did you sleep last night?
Last night I was in a tent with my friends.
Where?
Oh, not a good place, Henry Street, but I told them today to move to somewhere else, and I'm not gonna say it out loud.
Okay.
But yeah, the last tent we had was destroyed by 3 guys coming in smoking crack, and they just wrecked the place.
What age were you when you left Croatia?
24-ish.
Okay, and did you do the right thing to come to Ireland, do you think?
Yeah, I worked as a graphic designer and a sign maker for 8 years, but now I can't even sign my name.
Right. Like I tell you, I'm London Irish in my upbringing now, and like when I'm working in Britain, I meet a lot of Irish guys who would come working in England, but then they drink too much, you know. And I think I find here in Dublin, here in Ireland, a lot of East European men who work hard, but then drink gets the better of them, you know.
Yeah, that is true. I just went for my Dublin Simon detox pre-assessment yesterday. So I hope it's gonna help my court case today.
What has you here this morning, please?
I'm actually up in court for a charge back in 2019. I was in bad addiction then. I was stealing for to pay for my drug addiction.
And how are you now?
I'm clean now, yeah. I'm living in hostel in Fitzwilliam Street.
Alright.
And I'm looking forward to getting my 2-bedroom apartment in 2 weeks.
Good. And so what was the actual charge this morning?
It was stealing a Mac on Brown Thomas, yeah. Stealing from Mac makeup.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was you in the past, yeah?
Yes, that was me in the past.
Right, and you're pleading guilty to that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is that a very scary thing to do, to steal, you know, from a...
To be honest, I've tried it when I wasn't on drugs, and it is a very scary thing to do. But when you're on drugs, it's like it's do or die. Do you know what I mean? It's like you have no choice. It's like I guess I can go here and I'll rob out of this shop, and I might get away or I might get caught. Either way, I'll have a warm bed.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because if you're going to get caught, you're going to go to jail. So you'll get a warm bed to go to, and then if you don't get caught, you'll get to sell it and you get your drugs, so you're not cold when you're sleeping out.
So you're not scared of being put in prison for the night then, really? Doesn't matter to you, yeah.
Yeah.
What's happened this morning then?
Well, nothing happened this morning. I won't be seeing the judge now until 2 o'clock, but I reckon it'll get thrown out because I've been good since. I haven't picked up any charges, and I have doctor's letters to say that I've been stable and so on. Right. So I'd say it got thrown out. So
the judge will be able to see that, and he or she will be able to say this person has been making a good effort and so on. Very good. A lot of people tell me just how hard it is to leave addiction behind, you know.
Yeah, especially if you're living in it. Like if you're living in homelessness, do you know what I mean? Like it's extremely hard to knock it on the head. But when you get to a stable hostel that you can close your door and people can't like knock on your door to look in your room to see like what have you got, what money you have, what day you get paid or whatever, it gets a little bit easier.
And another man earlier was saying to me about how easy it is to get robbed from, to lose stuff in a hostel. Like
that's from people. You know, you think someone's your friend, you knock on your door. Have you got a smoke? Or look, I found these trousers. They're too small for me. They'll fit you out. That's their way of getting in the door. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And then you start to realise the next morning, that's gone missing. Where's that gone? And you can't say it because there might have been 1 or 2 people in the room beforehand. Do you know what I mean? So you just have to learn. You don't bring anybody into your room.
And when you're in a hostel, would you have your own room? Would you?
Not all the time. So some hostels you can be very unfortunate, and it'll be like 6 or 7 to a room because it'll be bunk beds. I'm very, very fortunate because I'm in a single room and I have my own bathroom as well.
Right.
And nobody is allowed into my room, whether I wanted to or not. Allow people in, they're not allowed into the room.
I see.
Yeah.
You feel you're going to be okay now?
Yeah. Well, compared to what I was, I'm stable. I'm on 75 mils of methadone. I'm slowly tapering down. I was on 90 mils. And I'm down to 75, so I've 25 more mils to go and I'll be going into Kilmine.
I see. So a hard question, but if I were to meet you 5 years' time, where do you think you'll be in your life? Yeah.
I hope to be in my house, have my 2 kids back and a little job.
What happened to you in court? Yeah.
The court went well. My solicitor is a legend, as I said. He got it put back, even though I had all my papers and everything to sort it out today, but he managed to put 3 cases together in one for 2 weeks' time. And but I'm a drunk. I'm not disorderly. That's what they charge me with. I'm always friendly. That's the funny thing. But they charge me with disorderly.
Was life better for you at one time, Ranko, before drink had such an effect on you, or what way would you put it?
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I have the drink problem last 20 years since my father shot himself. He was an abusive alcoholic. And I'll tell you now, he used to beat the shit out of me. He would stomp me in the ground for no reason. I get broken jaws, broken eye sockets.
From who? Who gave that to you?
Random people on the street.
It can be rough on the street, I'm sure.
It's pretty rough, man, if you sleep under a truck. We were in a tent last 2 nights, but I got booked in. But the place you get booked in, it's made for you to fail. So I'm trying to stay off alcohol. Mm-hmm. There's another 5 people in the room. The fella across from me, he's drinking a bottle of vodka.
Yes.
He falls asleep with a half bottle out next to his bed. The other 3 lads, they're smoking gear weed. So they get stoned and fucked up, and eventually they fall asleep. Mm-hmm. So in the middle of the night, 1 o'clock, I wake up and I'm staring at the bottle of vodka. I'm not gonna touch it. I don't want to touch it. It's not mine. It's not made for me. I can't handle it. I try to say all these things to myself not to touch it, but it was just there next to me, and it's hard to be a fucking addict. I'm sorry for the words, but it's.
Did you come here with your father, or did you come here on your own, or?
My father shot himself. My mother left me when I was 9. I went through war in ex-Yugoslavia by myself. Mm-hmm. My family left me. They all live in Sweden. They have houses and wages. And I'm alone.
And as is the case so often you'll find with homeless people, such as the man we've just been listening to, these people have a terrible start in life. The odds stacked against them, not always, but time and again. They've had to deal with really, really bad life circumstances from a young age. The next couple we've got to hear, I saw them on their way into the court, pulling a little carrier bag with them. They look at first sight like a couple on their way to the airport going on their holidays, but I know that means that one of them at least is expecting to be sent into custody, to be sent to prison that day. And it was maybe a half hour later I saw them both coming out together, still carrying the bag, and they gave each other a hug. Obviously very, very pleased with the outcome of what had just happened before the court. The man went on his phone to speak to, presumably tell the good news to whoever he was telling. The woman was standing next to him, and I asked her about what had happened.
It wasn't myself, it was my partner. Yeah. A few years, 3 years ago, we were in addiction ourselves, which we're not now. And he was charged with, possession of a substance. and it actually went really well today. He didn't get sentenced because he's doing so well, and he's going to college in September, and he's engaging with his kids and stuff like that, and he's doing well. But my experience, I've been a drug addict all my life. I'm sober now. A couple of years. He's sober himself now a couple of years. But our experience was all the crime we committed was due to our addiction. Just to get money to feed our habit,
And when you say sober, does that mean off of drink or off of drugs, or do you mean it for the
drink and drugs?
Drink and drugs,
yeah.
I see.
He doesn't drink, but when I came off the drugs, I started drinking, thinking that that'd be okay, and I ended up going overboard, drinking big litre bottles of Captain Morgan, and within the space of an hour.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And just blacking out, and so I knew my problem was I've an addictive personality, so I have to be very careful. So I knew I had to deal with that issue too before it got too bad.
When the two of you came out the court there, I did see you gave each other a big hug, so you're happy at the moment.
Yeah,
now,
definitely, yeah.
And so he didn't get sent to prison today, and I suppose you were able to tell the courts that you've made the effort staying up at the...
and I'm as his solicitor was in there saying, look, he has huge support from his girlfriend. I attend college. I'm a nail tech, eyelash, eyebrows. I'm qualified in some of it, but I've to wait to get qualified in some of the other modules in it.
What would you say to anybody who hears this, who's in an addiction problem, and what can you do to help?
Get help, reach out. The first thing is admitting to yourself and to somebody that you have a problem. That's the first thing you need to do, and just to reach out and ask for help.
So life is better now, is it?
Life is great. I'm doing something I love. I have my home. I'm clean. I'm sober. I have my family. I have, my good friends, not my associates, if you understand what I mean.
I think I do. That people have said to me, if you've got to get off drugs, you have to change your company because they are associates.
It could mean that you only end up with a handful of people that you have.
But they were addicts the same as you, though, weren't they? And it wasn't really their fault, was it?
No. Now I do attend AA sometimes, and AA and NA is great. It is for people with addiction.
Were you very young when it started then?
I was 14, and I'm 33 now. So
you were 14 when you first took the drugs?
Yeah, when I first started taking drugs, yeah.
And what was the first drug? What was the
weed. And then it was ecstasy. Oh God, ecstasy. Oh, thoughts of them.
Right.
Oh my God, every day I used to take them. Every day, seriously, every day. I don't know how I got away with it. My nanny, I lived in my nanny's house, and she was real strict, real old-fashioned, and I'd be going around
Wasn't she right to help you? Sorry, sir, how are you doing? The lady here is saying to me about how life is much better having got off of drugs, So the two of you are doing well,
Off drugs
the
now,
two of us,
we're doing great.
Yeah.
We're doing superb. Especially when it comes to the kids, you can put more attention into your kids, and the kids don't have to look at you going around like a zombie.
I was saying to him, he was asking, what would you say to other addicts listening? And I said, reach out, the first step is admitting you have a problem and telling someone that you have a problem, and reach out to someone or somewhere.
And if you can help one person, that person can help another person, and so on, and it just leads to it,
Right. I saw you give a big hug to each other as you came
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
said to myself, that's a good news
We
story.
were happy.
I had a
we were
good
happy.
feeling. I knew. This has happened three times,
Yeah.
and I had a good. The 3 times I've had a good feeling.
Look,
Oh,
I
you're
brought
not
me
getting
clothes
that.
and all, thinking I was getting locked
I
up.
said,
Yeah,
"You're
you
not-"
have your bags there. with you.
Yeah, and she had a good feeling saying that, like,
kept
and she
saying
done
I
this
was
twice.
getting
She told me I wasn't getting locked up,
Right.
and I didn't.
4 times I've
Know what I
done
mean?
it,
Like,
and it's come
I've
through.
been out of trouble for 3 years, like, and the judge kind of looked at that as like he's doing well. He's out of trouble for 3 years, like.
Yeah.
The
Know what I mean?
solicitor
Like-
said he has to sport of his
And I'm starting a course in Biffy and Bray, a hairdressing course. You know what I mean? Like a barbering course, sorry.
And like that, you have your bags here. I mean, I saw you with the bags earlier.
The bags and all.
And what would you pack for prison then?
They'll all be tracksuits, a hair machine, socks, jocks,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, all the
You're not
necessities.
allowed like hoodies
You're
or
not allowed
anything
hoodies,
like that. Like.
but,
A
like,
what
all
machine
the
did you
rest
say it is?
of- A hair machine, to cut your hair.
All
I
right,
cut my
yeah.
hair this morning, they did before I went.
All right.
Now to make myself look a bit, so now fucking, sorry for the language,
Yeah, okay,
cut me, I needed to be hair cut like straight away, like.
Right. So you didn't think you were coming out then today?
I thought I was going to jail,
Yeah.
being honest.
I didn't. No.
So it's all finished now.
It's all
is it?
finished now.
And-
A month suspended for a year, and that's me out of trouble now. I'm 46 years of age nearly. My time coming to these courts are finished, and I'll never be back again.
Yeah.
Never.
And like
And-
the woman who loves you there was
Yeah.
saying, she was pretty young when she started.
She was pretty young. I was pretty young too. I was about 15.
Right.
I'm 46 now nearly, and it's a sad
Yeah.
it's a sad world. Like, it's a sad way to live your life. You know what I mean? Like, when you're addicted, like you have to do things that you don't like doing, but you have to do it to survive and to support your addiction. And like, if I could take it all back now, I would. If I could turn back the time and go back to when I was 18, I'd live a different life. I wouldn't get involved in drugs because the things I've done that I'm not proud of over the years, still hurt. Like, you may not think that, like, just because we're criminals, that we haven't got a heart, that we don't think of the damage we've done to people. We think of all the damage we've done to people, and we're very apologetic about that, and we understand, like, the trauma that they went through, like, you know,
You mean
like
people you would have robbed?
people that we would have robbed and stolen from, shoplifted. Even like, shoplifting is a I used to think it was a offence that didn't affect anybody, but it does. Now, like,
Affects shops,
if one person goes in and shoplifts, then another person goes in and shoplifts. Like, his money and his profit margins go down. You know, like.
Your family must be very glad of you, very proud of you.
Yeah,
now.
they're very proud of me. I was just on the phone to my brother there just before I got off there before I started speaking to you.
We've both gone through similar. We both have had
We've had
drug-induced
similar
psychosis,
Yeah.
and I was so sick that my family thought this was from drugs, of course, that they were told that I might not make it through it, like that I could be in that psychotic mind forever, or I might actually, because I wouldn't
you
eat
pulled
or
through.
drink, but I
Yeah.
ended up pulling through it. But that was my kind of breaking point, was when I was like, I have to do something.
There's always a
about
point
this,
in your life when you say you're right, enough's enough.
From the steps of the Criminal Courts of Justice in Dublin. That's it for this week from Paddy's podcast. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to be notified of future episodes, please subscribe to the series and leave me a review. It really helps to create awareness for the podcast. If you'd like to get in contact or learn more about the series, you can visit my website, paddyspodcast.ie. See you next time.